Yellow Trailblazers, and welcome to my very first agent analysis for Zenless Zone Zero. And the agent who will have the honor of being my very first analysis is Zhu Yuan, who I have already put hours into testing and theory crafting with. So Zhu Yuan will be an ether attack agent who is part of the police faction. And while I think this character looks really cool, and I also personally vibe with her nerdy personality, unfortunately from my analysis, I've just found Zhu Yuan to be woefully unreliable, underpowered, underwhelming, uncultured, uninspiring, unattractive, and just flat out unimpressive. And because of this, I just recommend saving for the next agent, Qing Yi, instead, which you can start doing by using my coupon at lootbar.gg. Lootbar.gg is the best way to obtain the anime mobile gaming hose you need as efficiently as possible. It's highly secure, fast, but most importantly has so many discounts, and using my ZZZ link on today's video will give you such a discount. Let's say you have $50 to farm monochromes with. Well, in-game you can only buy the $50 pack, but by using my ZZZ referral link in the description, you will be able to collect yourself a 15% off coupon, which you can use for any in-game Zenless Zone Zero pack. So now the $50 pack only costs you $42.50. Enter your game UID in server region and then smash that top up button. The order will process for a bit, so let's check in game now, and there we have it already. Anyways, use my link in the description and start saving for the omnipotent Qing Yi. So before I get into Zhu Yuan's numbers, which are atrocious, let's just look at this at a high level. And when doing this, we see that the second banner in Homoverse games is always very disappointing. In Genshin Impact, the second banner was Klee, who places very bad in the tier list. And then Child followed, who is powerful according to modern tier lists. But then in Hoyoverse's other game I'm more familiar with, Honkai Star Rail, the second banner was none other than Zhu Yuan, who is one of the worst trailblazers in the game, and quite frankly one of the worst characters I've ever seen in an anime mobile game. However, what followed Chimichungus was none other than the omnipotent Silverwolf, who to this day is very powerful. Now fast forward to Zenless, and we see that Zhu Yuan is not only the second banner in the game, but she even shares the same last name as Zhang Yuan. And then we see the agent that follows her is Qing Yi, who appears to be a short omnipotent lesbian similar to Silverwolf, and I think it should just be obvious what the pattern is here. But then even the game's story goes out of its way to hint to us that Qing Yi is the superior officer to Zhu Yuan. First, even though Zhu Yuan in name is technically the captain of the squad, she addresses Qing Yi as senpai in the Japanese dub. Senpai, そういう曖昧な言い方をしないでください。This implies that Zhu Yuan recognizes Qing Yi as the more experienced officer, and we see the superior combat experience in the final escape cutscene in the Chapter 2 interlude of the story. So this cutscene here where the two officers are fleeing enemies, and we see already you guys, Qing Yi is just blocking bullets in a major way, and Zhu Yuan is just fleeing. So they're able to get through here because of Qing Yi, and then if I rewind, yeah, here. So they're about to jump, and we see Qing Yi is nodding because she is signaling Zhu Yuan to jump with her. And Zhu Yuan looks pretty frightened. We even see she closes her eyes out of fear here. So they jump here, and then if you watch that, you see Qing Yi is the one pulling Zhu Yuan there. So Qing Yi is basically acting as the fulcrum and exhibiting the required torque to pull off this amazing stunt. Look at Qing Yi's face, she is clearly locked in a major way here. And Zhu Yuan looks like she's about to piss herself. And there it is. So we just see from this cutscene that Zhu Yuan was being clearly outclassed to the highest level, as she just very obviously relies on Qing Yi to bail her out of that situation. Now, as for Zhu Yuan's numbers, they are rather lackluster from what I found. Compared to our current only other limited attack agent, Ellen Zhou, the overpowered hoe, Zhu Yuan's hit combo is just far worse. First off, Ellen Zhou does her combo in 3 hits, while Zhu Yuan takes 5 hits. But then if we just add up all the numbers from Ellen Zhou's 3 hits compared to Zhu Yuan's 5 hits, we see that Ellen Zhou still does far more damage, even though she's hitting the enemy less. Then Ellen Zhou's dash attack also does far more damage than Young Zhu's in both days and damage, and Ellen Zhou's chain attack also does more damage, and so does her ultimate and dodge counter, and yeah, you get the point. On every ability, Ellen Zhou just does far more damage than Zhu Yuan when you look at the data. And sure, Ellen Zhou is an overpowered hoe, and maybe she has set the standards too high for attack agents. But the fact is, the standard is set nonetheless, and Zhu Yuan absolutely does not reach it. Not even close. Honestly, Ellen Zhou is so much better than Zhu Yuan that it might reach the same levels of humiliation that Jimmy Chungus experienced with Zila on Star Rail launch. Then, as for her playstyle, I just found Zhu Yuan to feel rather wacky and clunky. Like you are a ranged agent, but then she will randomly like sprint in and become melee, which leads to you just getting hit unexpectedly. She just kind of dictates how she moves herself, and I just feel like I'm not really in control when playing her, and overall I just found Zhu Yuan to feel rather clunky and too hard to execute combos on because of this. Anyways, I think that's all I want to say. Overall, it's just a very obvious bait banner, as Homoverse has always done with the second banner in the game, and this will just give us more time to save for the omnipotent Qingli.